Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new show at the Dyl Pickle Movie Network, Draft Day. I'm Dylan Randazzo, the founder and creator of the Dyl Pickle Movie Network, and I am joined today by four other hosts from other shows on the channel. It's the first time ever that all the hosts have been in the same, not in the same room, but in the same chat room at the same time discussing something. So it's going to be really exciting to just talk with everyone. So why don't we just introduce them? Let's kind of go in order of how this channel evolved. So first, we had this little podcast that could, and it's taken off pretty well. Every Monday, I meet with her and we discuss Marvel hullabaloo. It is Kelsey Kilpatrick. How you doing, Kelsey?
Oh my God, I'm doing great, Dill. So happy to be here. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's so fun to talk to you and it not have to be Marvel based. So
Yes.
yay.
Yes, and that's a good thing to mention because today we are drafting Disney. I didn't even say that at the top. We're drafting Disney animation, so
There
no
you go.
live action, no Star Wars, and no Marvel. So Kelsey, I know you want to pick Thanos as your Disney princess, but you cannot this week. Then,
Rat.
as the channel evolved, we added two more new shows to the channel. One that airs monthly. It has aired monthly from the start when we started it. We were trying to go through every single Best Picture nominee in the history of Best Picture nominees. We're still I'd say I think 12 or 13 months in. We're trekking along in our marathon, but he is here to talk about Disney today. Maybe some Disney movies. One Disney movie was nominated for Best Picture. That's only one. So, but hey, there's some sort of tie-in. It is Mr. Chad Webb, co-host of Picture This. How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing great. Ready to talk Disney. I got my own little furry friend here.
Oh,
He's
nice.
adorable.
Nice.
Yes. And now bringing in the other co-hosts that helped start this new wave of shows once I kind of settled into the channel, and that is a show about so bad they're good movies, and we've had a lot of fun doing that. Some of those movies probably won't show up on this list because most of these draft picks that we'll pick are pretty good movies, but there might be some bad ones or some disagreeable ones. Here is Mr. Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman, how you doing?
Hey, I'm so glad I get to talk about good movies.
Yes.
I love bad movies. I love talking about bad movies, but it's nice that I'm going to get a chance to talk about good movies.
Great. And lastly, bringing us back to reality, it is the one, the only co-host of Recipe for Reality, a show that we've picked up a few months into the channel and have been doing ever since. It's been really fun to cover reality television. Now we're moving into the movie stratosphere with this guy. It is Mr. Zach Love, the co-host of Recipe for Reality. How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing great. My hair is long and I've been wearing hats, but just for this occasion, I had to break out the Mickey ear hat.
I was wondering
Nice.
where that was going.
And Dylan, I'm so honored that you would bring Danny DeVito in for this podcast. This is such an amazing night. I didn't know Danny was going to be here. I love your work.
Well, we're the same height, so
So this is it. This is the staff of the Dyl Pickle Movie Network. I say staff as if it's like some official business thing. It's not. We're just a bunch of cool people who like to
We're
talk
the
about movies
staff.
and TV stuff. The staff. This is like a
I
staff
feel
meeting.
so official with you
One
referring to your
of you
dad.
is going to be fired at the end of this. I'm just kidding.
My God.
Oh, that's
I-
that.
That
I
person
vote
that
Chad.
The person with the worst team. The person with the worst team gets their contract terminated.
Oh my
So,
God.
how this draft is gonna work? It is a Disney draft. I am gonna pull up the rules here just to kind of explain what we're doing. There will be 5 rounds total, so it's gonna be a 25 pick draft. So each of us will get 5 picks in this whole draft process.
Oh,
A random draft order will be selected by the wheel. The draft is snaked, meaning whoever is the 5th pick in the draft in round 1 will have the first pick in round 2, and so on and so forth, so on and so forth. So the first person to pick overall will also have the, I believe, 20th pick. So you'll see how it works as we keep going. For this particular draft, because it is Disney animation only, each player must draft one of the following. Because we wanted to spice it up. We didn't want to just pick movies. We wanted to be a little bit more specific. Everyone must take a Disney princess, a Disney villain, a Disney sidekick, and or furry friend, a Disney song, and a Disney animation era. Now, the eras might be a little confusing. I will clear that up in just a little bit. But you may not take anything from Pixar, live action, Marvel, or Star Wars. This is Disney Animation Studios only. I sent you all a list either way back when or today, whenever I send it to you. But I will go through all those movies in just a sec by era, just so you know what movies are eligible to choose from. But if anyone does disagree with a pick, either they think it should be ineligible for that category or they think it should apply to a different category. For example, there are some furry friends who are also villains. So if you want to debate that and try to veto the picks, you can, but you will need at least 3 people to veto. So if one person says, I'll allow it, but the other 3 don't, then it'll veto and you'll have to pick another pick. So let me really quickly go through these eras just so you guys know, and for the people listening at home to be like, what are the eras? I don't understand. First, we start off with the Golden Age, pretty straightforward. These are the first 5 movies produced by Disney: Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi. So that is the golden age of Disney animation. Then, of course, when the war hit, it was all these wartime era films: Saludos Amigos, Three Caballeros, Make Mine Music, Fun and Fancy Free, Melody Time, and The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. These were kind of the package films where you would see like 4 or 5 little shorts kind of bundled into one fuller film. Ichabod and Mr. Toad is just 2 short films put into one, but those were like kind of released during the war. Were not hugely popular, and then they kind of got back on track in terms of popularity with the Silver Age. That's where we saw Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, Sword of the Stone, and Jungle Book. And that led up to 67, when unfortunately we lost Walt Disney, and then the next era was known as the Dark Ages, which is not because the movies were necessarily bad, but because they were not huge box office successes, and because Walt Disney had passed away. And this was the Aristocats, Robin Hood, Winnie the Pooh, the Rescuers, the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, because there's another Winnie the Pooh later, the Rescuers, Fox and the Hound, Black Cauldron, Great Mouse Detective, and Oliver and Company. And then we move on to the Renaissance, which is pretty self-explanatory. This was when things got a little bit more popular in terms of box office. These are some of the more popular names: Little Mermaid, Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Pocahontas, Hunchback, Hercules, Mulan, and Tarzan. Then we got into the post-Renaissance era, also kind of known as the experimental era. That's where they were kind of trying new things with animation. This is kind of the stuff that I grew up with: Fantasia 2000, Dinosaur, Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis Lost Empire, Treasure Planet, Brother Bear, Home on the Range, Chicken Little, Meet the Robinsons, and Bolt. And that takes us to the revival era, which is everything from 2009 to present. So Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Winnie the Pooh, Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, Moana, Ralph Breaks the Internet, which is Wreck-It Ralph 2, Frozen 2, Raya and the Last Dragon, and most recently, Encanto. So that was a lot to take in. If you guys need a clarification, that I could bring it up again, but those are the different eras to choose from, and those are all the movies that you will be able to choose princesses and villains and sidekicks and songs from. So a very exciting crop of movies. But before we get to the draft, we have to figure out what the draft order is. So I have my handy dandy little wheel here, has all our names on it, and when I spin the wheel, whoever gets picked first will have their choice to pick first, second, third, fourth, or fifth in the draft. And remember that this will snake around. So I'm going to spin first, keeping it completely honest, showing you every single step of the way. And Kelsey, you are the lucky first person. So Kelsey,
of course it is.
Where would you like to pick in the draft?
Okay. I don't know anything about like drafting or fantasy sports or any of that. So I don't really know. I'm just going in blind here. Okay, so like I can either be first or I can be
Second or third or
If you
fourth.
go last, you get 2 picks in a row. Remember that.
Yes, and if you go first, you will get 2 picks in a row when it sneaks back around.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you for the helpful hints. That really helps. I'll go last then. I'll go last.
All right, so Kelsey's going to have the 5th pick in the draft. Let us spin again and see who's going to pick next, their draft order. Okay, this is rigged.
No.
It was going to spin again. It was Kelsey. Sorry, Matt. The line did point to Kelsey. I'm not going to be...
The wheels just like me.
Oh, what is it?
Dylan.
That is right on the line.
Dylan.
It is Dylan. I kind of wanted to wait it out a few rounds and see, but I feel like I have to take advantage of. I'm gonna take the first overall pick. I gotta. There's something in my brain that I really want to pick first. That I'm gonna pick the first overall pick, which means there are 9 picks in between though, which could be scary. So we'll see. Pick again. Let's see. This wheel is just doing 2 at a time. This is crazy.
That's rude. That's very rude.
All right, let's do this again. Hopefully it works this time.
I feel like it's
Yo.
going. Is
That's
that
uncool.
Dylan,
That is
can you
uncool.
can you
I'm
not
gonna remove. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
remove
was gonna
myself
say
and
remove.
Kelsey because
There
the
you go.
wheel only wants to pick one of us two. All right, you 3 are the last 3 in this wheel. I promise it will be one of you. It is
Okay,
Chad. Chad, where do you want to
All
where do you
right.
want to rank, or where do you want to draft?
I'll go second.
All right, Chad with the 2nd pick. So now this is between Matt and Zach, the friendly rivalry
Huh.
to see who will get
Interesting.
the 4th and 3rd pick in this draft. And
Bro, come on.
Matt, would you like to go 3rd or 4th?
Interesting how that's also how that MCU match is going to go. But
Oh, not yet. Don't bring it into this now.
I will go. I'm going to go third on the off chance the thing I want first is still there.
Yeah,
right.
that's
All right. So
Hey,
now we're gonna get into it. Yeah, what's up, Zach?
you guys can start off. I have to go check a cat medical emergency very quickly, so I'll be right back. If it gets to my turn, I will run in.
Okay, cool. All right, so he can still hear us. So let me proceed to round one, pick one, and I got to do it. I'm picking the Renaissance as my era. I just think, in those eras, that's the smallest category, that's the smallest grouping, and that one has the 1, 2, 3 punch of Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, like boom, 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 and Little Mermaid if you want to add that too. Like just so many good movies. These are the movies I grew up with. So I'm picking Renaissance first. I know, Matt, that's probably the one you were hoping for.
I also have to go check on a cat emergency.
That's very sad that he didn't get Renaissance. I'm sorry. Chad, Kelsey, what do you think of the pick? Is that a valid first round pick?
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I wanted first, so I could pick that. I think a lot
Me
of us
too.
had that strategy. So,
Okay, well,
it is what it is.
Damn.
there you go. Well, Chad, you do have second pick, so if you wanted to, you can pick either another era or you can pick the first pick of any of the other categories. So you're on the clock.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. No, I'll go with a different category this time.
Okay, all right.
I will
Okay.
go. No, okay, no. I'll go with an era because I feel like those are going to go pretty quick, and I want to have a good era. It might be a mistake, but I'll go with revival era.
Cool. So that's the current movies.
Yes. I feel like I almost went with the golden because I feel like those had some really, really freaking strong ones. But then if you already taken the Renaissance, then I'm like, I feel like Disney hasn't been as good as it's been now since the Renaissance or before really until maybe you get to the golden age. So in my personal opinion. So yeah, I think I have to pick this one because there's so many great films in this one. And they're really firing on all cylinders. So
yeah, and when someone goes to vote, I mean, they're gonna see like this is the one that has Frozen and Wreck-It Ralph, like all the new properties that are really like hot right now. Like that's what it's got.
Zootopia.
Yeah, Zootopia, true. Yeah.
Damn, and now I have to go last? Who decided this?
You did. you had the fate in your hands. Kelsey, Matt, what do you think of that pick? Kelsey, what do you think of that pick? Is that a good second round pick?
I think that's also a very strong second round pick. Luckily, the one that I have my eye on has not been picked, although I feel like it's going to go. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, Matt, what are your thoughts on that?
That was if someone snaked in and got the Renaissance era, revival era was my second choice. I was going for that. That stupid wheel almost got me, almost went to me 2 times, and then it didn't, and I'm unhappy.
Well, Matt, you do have the third pick if you would like to pick another era, or you can pick you could be the first pick of one of the other 4 categories, which is pretty good too. So what do you think?
I feel like the other categories are broad enough that you kind of have to go with an era first, especially if you're early on, because you don't want to get stuck with wartime era, like.
I mean, the wartime era has some gems in it.
We did a Disney rewatch here at our house, like from the beginning through, and wartime era. It's fun, but it's not the era, I am sorry, Kelsey, if this is what you were going to do, but I'm going to go with actually, Dyl, can you throw up the experimental era just so I can look at the movies real quick?
Experimental? Yeah, that's this post-Renaissance.
Okay, so that's Emperor's New Groove, Treasure Planet. Tarzan's not on there. Is Tarzan not on there?
No, Tarzan's
that's Renaissance. I think you played with those dates a little bit. I'm pretty sure that
if you look anywhere online, if the Renaissance, it's 10 movies. It's Tarzan's in there. I mean, you can look. You can check if you want.
Tarzan.
No, I believe you. I'm just joking around. I do feel like Tarzan belongs in the post-Renaissance era, but I believe you that people do put it in the other one because it's kind of 90s, it's on the cusp. It's on the cusp. I'm going to go with experimental era just simply for Emperor's New Groove and Treasure Planet. Those are all times, like all timers.
Yeah, and like I said, like that was like the era, like when I was seeing movies in theaters as a kid, like that was what I was seeing. Kelsey, I have to ask, was that the one you wanted? Have you been gypped with that as well? Okay, good.
No,
nice.
The one I want still there. And honestly,
she's like,
even though the revival era, I do agree with Matt that if you didn't get the Renaissance, you should totally go for the revival era. It actually wasn't my number 2. My number 2 is still alive and well, so I feel very good right now. But again, I have to go after Zach.
Watch it be wartime era, and I just said really mean things about her. Number one.
No, Kelsey loves Make My Music.
I don't think I've seen a single film in the wartime era. I'll go on record.
At least Ichabod and Mr. Toad is worth it. Like that's
that one's okay. Yeah, that was pretty good. Chad, your thoughts on this post Renaissance era? Like, were you seeing movies at that point in Disney, or was that a little past your time?
Well, I mean, I was still a kid when Emperor's New Groove came out, and I freaking loved that movie specifically. Most of the other ones I haven't seen, and then there's Chicken Little and stuff like that. And I'm like, so there's quite, it's definitely not as strong as the 2 that were picked first, but I totally understand Matt's decision there with like Emperor's New Groove, and I haven't seen Treasure Planet, but I've heard good things. So.
You should see it. It's so good.
I need to.
Chicken Little had the unfortunate. Well, it was unfortunate for all of us. It was post Garden State in the heyday of Scrubs. Zach Braff was going to be in a Disney movie.
Love Zach Braff.
Oh my god!
And then that movie was just garbage. And I was very upset. I was a full grown adult in a theater going, "This is stupid."
It was the first time I ever heard "Wannabe" from the Spice Girls, though, so I will give it that. So Zach, you are next. What has gone?
Me too,
I picked the Renaissance. I picked the Renaissance. Chad picked the Revival era, and Matt picked the post-Renaissance. So you can go to another era, or you can get the first pick in another category. Or what are you thinking? What's your first pick going to be? Let me put the little graphic on there. So round 1, pick 4.
Right.
Exactly.
So I can either pick a new era, or I can pick another first pick in a different. Okay.
You can get your first pick in any of the other 4 categories, which is pretty big.
I have a question.
What's up?
Can I ask you a question real quick? Okay, so that's how every round goes. Like, you can keep going off the category, or you can just jump into a different category.
Yeah, so like Chad could have taken his song after I took the Renaissance, but Chad wanted to get one of the eras because that's also a slimmer category, and maybe he didn't want to have to pick later. It's all up to strategy. So you can really pick as long as you get one of each. So now we can't pick another era, the 3 of us. But you and Zach can still pick your era, or you can wait till later in the draft. So if Zach picks his era, you don't need to pick your era till the last round because.
I'm gonna go forth, and I'm gonna pick my first in a new category just because.
Ooh.
Wow.
I don't know if they'll be popular or not. I have a feeling my era will not be popular, so I'm not worried about it. And the only person who hasn't picked yet is Kelsey, and if she doesn't pick it, then I'll be good. And I can wait as long as I need to. So I'm gonna pick. My first, I'm going to take the princess pick because I think that's the hard one. You already know it's Ariel from The Little Mermaid. Get her off the board. She's mine. She is everything to me. I adore her. I knew she'd go quickly, and so I'm going to take her and take what's mine.
That's right. Yeah, that's
women are not objects of.
Yeah, as long as I've known you, you've loved Ariel.
Sir.
You've loved Ariel, and honestly, my first pick, if I was not gonna get an era, if I was not gonna get the Renaissance, I probably would have gone for that only to spite you because I knew you were gonna pick it, and I know that's gonna be strong.
I'm honestly upset about. I'm upset about losing the Renaissance only because there's so much good stuff in there, but I feel like with eras, especially like with what I'm hoping I end up with eventually, it is. It's probably very likely that there are going to be people who like things from all eras. It's just a matter of like what the popularity is going to be. But when it comes to princesses, Ariel's a big one.
Yeah,
I had to take what I knew could get me some stuff rather than lose it later on. There's a couple that I'm pretty confident on. That was one I was afraid of losing, so I'm happy about it.
And I gotta say, Ariel was definitely at the top of my list as well. So, but you know what? I'm glad that Zach got it because I think he loves her more than any of us. I'm sure.
It's true. It's true.
Ariel was not high on my list, but she was high on my list when I was like 6. Like she was my lady. Let me tell you. But
Jeez,
that was back when that movie first came out, and like the other ones didn't exist yet.
Yeah, you could also credit her for like starting the Renaissance. Obviously not her, but that movie.
Yeah.
That movie
like,
did.
that's the reason we got a Renaissance, is because Little Mermaid was not supposed to be a big hit and was, and ended up winning Oscars and being great. Yeah, that's a great pick. Kelsey, thoughts on that pick? And you can also segue into your first pick of your round. And mind you, you will get 2 picks back to back.
All I have to say is, Zach, fine. Have Ariel. That's fine.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay.
She was just like she was just like nowhere near my. Okay, well, I went into this like feeling rather torn between like picking what my like favorite things about Disney are versus what I know the best things about Disney are, because those are like 2 different things.
And people will be voting on this too, so like you also kind of have to think about the audience too. Yeah.
So it's like I've just been juggling those like 2 aspects, but I'm sticking to my guns. I'm going to like my favorites because, you know, there's the whole nostalgic factor when it comes to Disney, you know, things you grew up on, things you know, fell in love with. Apparently Matt had his sexual awakening with Ariel, you know? It's a special place.
It happens to the best.
At 6 years old, yeah.
There it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pick my era because I just need to put myself out of my misery. And I'm so happy that Zach moved on to something else and that I'll actually be able to get my number 2 pick when it comes to eras, which is actually, wait for it, I know, the Silver Age.
Oh.
Okay.
Woo! Nice.
And Zach,
so let's
Zach
pull up
looks
that
pretty
graphic.
pleased about that. Guys, there are
tell us about the Silver Age.
All right, guys,
it's a good age.
Let me tell you, there are absolute fucking bangers in this age right now. All right, we have Alice in Wonderland, which is my favorite Disney movie of all time. Peter motherfucking Pan? Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
We got 101 Dalmatians, The Jungle Book. Y'all, like we're sleeping on this era. I don't know what happened, but this is my pick. I stand by it.
The mouse might have to censor Kelsey. To be honest.
Zach's watching.
My students are watching. Kelsey, could you? No. Yeah, as
I'm
if they
sure
don't say
it's
worse
nothing
on a
that they
daily.
haven't said.
I was gonna say, as if they don't say worse on a daily basis. They know. They know.
They're Gen Z. I'm not worried.
So honestly, that's a big surprise that all the four
Pan.
of the 5 of us picked eras. I guess because it is the smallest category. But now Zach, you get to relax and not have to worry about picking eras right away either.
I am gonna get my second pick, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with.
Matt, what are you gonna say?
I would like to say about the Silver Age. I know that it's your job here to hype it up, but there were a lot of good movies that I grew up with in there. There's also The Jungle Book, which is not even a movie. That's barely a movie. Come on.
That's a hot take.
Matt,
that's not a hot take.
About The Jungle Book?
The Jungle Book. All right. The Jungle Book is a good book, which I read when I was a kid. They made a great live action remake of it because they made it into an actual narrative, which the movie is not. It's a series of good songs. But it's a series of good songs.
Good songs.
With fun characters. It's almost an anthology movie. It's not. There's not even a storyline. Anyway,
I haven't heard a single negative thing. I'm sorry. Where's the complaint?
That's just a complaint for me, and it doesn't. If you guys are into that, that's perfectly fine. I will say 101 Dalmatians was a staple for me, so that is one in that list that made me go, oh man, that's really good. Peter Pan's fun, but it's outdated. Also.
Chad, what were you going to say?
It's for sure outdated.
I was just going to say I would still take the Silver Age over the post-Renaissance. As a whole, like I think both have like really great movies in each of their ones, but like, I haven't seen a lot of the post-Renaissance, so take it with a grain of salt. But just knowing from like what the common reception of a lot of the movies are, I'm like, I think the Silver Age kind of has it there, but
it's not me versus Kelsey here.
Seemed like it was.
I agree. Honestly, Matt, I agree with you. I think that there's a lot of great stuff in the Silver Age, but a lot of it has been long since forgotten, right? Kind of brushed over with a lot of remakes. The Jungle Book, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland. You've got a lot of remakes in that category. And so
All
I
right.
worry. Listen, Kelsey, you got your second, which is amazing. I just worry that the viewers maybe don't remember.
Yeah, I also think you
How
probably
could
could have
they
gotten that a
not?
little later. I think you could have gotten that a little later, like third.
Oh
fourth
yeah,
round,
you would
maybe.
have.
I don't know.
If I can definitely say, you would have gotten it. I wouldn't have picked it.
Let me just tell you though, I am breathing a little bit easier now that I know I have the Silver Age.
Well,
Okay,
and Kelsey,
I feel better.
you now have the first pick of the second round, so you will get to pick now again. What would you like to pick as your first round? Because now, yeah, all the eras have been taken except for the golden, bronze, and wartime, but only Zach has to worry about that. You basically have your free pick of any category except for aerial. So,
And that wasn't going to be a problem for her. So,
Wait, so now we like circle backwards?
yeah.
Or
So
I
now
thought
you
it
get the
was gonna
first
be
pick.
like, okay. Oh my God, I didn't. Oh my God, I think I know what I have to do. I don't know. I'm checking my pulse. I'm like nervous. Oh, but should I go with that one? Oh,
You're on the clock.
can I defer?
No,
Oh,
no, you
damn.
have to
you
pick.
chose this position.
Yeah, you're right, but I get nervous. Okay. I'm going with the sidekick category.
Oh, okay. Who are you picking?
My pick is the genie from Aladdin.
Oh no, that's such a good pick.
That's a good pick.
That's a
That
good
is-
pick that I did not even consider.
I
that is a
don't know
good
why, but I
think
did not think
it.
about that. I was
Two
thinking
words, gentlemen. 2 words. Robin Williams.
No,
I
you're
think
correct.
that's all I
You're
have to say.
correct.
When I think
You
of
are
Aladdin's
correct.
sidekick, I think of Abu, so I did not even think of Genie. That's genius. You've done it.
That's
Congratulations.
genius.
Come on.
That's
I'm mad at you,
That's
Dylan. I'm
genius.
mad because I thought it and I didn't say it.
The only reason
Never
I
had a
don't
friend like me. Come on.
The only reason I don't like Genie is because now they've made it synonymous with that new fast pass system they have in Disney World, where like you have to pay now to fast pass certain rides.
So
and you have to pay
stupid.
$15 charges to ride other rides, like top tier ride. I was like, that's dumb. And don't bring Genie into this, but I get it. No, it's a great pick, great vocal performance. I think if they were more accepting of animation when they were doing like Oscars back then in categories that weren't just like song and score, I think Robin Williams could have gotten nominated. Even like that is a really good voice performance, an iconic character. Yeah, 3 wishes, and Kelsey got 2 of hers. It seems like so. Yeah. Anyone else have thoughts on Genie?
Well,
Yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I would just say, as a poor man from Oklahoma, that fast pass thing means absolutely nothing to me. That's a privileged take that Matt doesn't know anything about.
It used to be if you just got a park ticket, you could get fast passes.
Right.
Now
you
costs
have
money.
to pay
Now
for it.
Now it's so secluded. Anyway, we're not getting into the business side of things, and that's something I should have prefaced first. Like
The
Disney as a
mouse will come.
Yeah, the corporation is not what we're praising today. We're praising the artists and the work that they have made. Yeah, Chad, what were you going to say about the Genie? You look like you had something to say.
I don't know. I mean, I just kind of have like a hot take about this one. Like, I just think he's like so overrated a lot of the times. Like, I mean, he's a good character, but like people act like this is the second coming of our Lord or something like that. And I'm just like, I just remember when Will Smith, Mr. Slappy, was gonna jump up on there and be Genie. Everybody was like freaking out because they're like, this isn't Robin Williams, and I'm like, Robin Williams is a little annoying in that movie. So
wow, honestly, that's what I appreciate
Wow.
about the show is because I feel like for every pick, there's people who are like, yes, that's an awesome pick, and some people are like, no, it's overrated, and I love that.
I think
that's the draft and the competitiveness coming through too. I love it.
It's the same kind of thing as like, Ghostbusters fans and Star Wars fans ruining a lot of the newer stuff with the old. It only has to be this.
Yes, I agree.
But at the same time, I do love the Genie. I do personally think like Robin Williams, no one could top it. But I get it. No, I get what you mean.
For sure. Oh, I was just going to thank Chad for taking the heat off me for my Jungle Book take with his Genie take.
Yeah, take of the night.
So let's move on now. Zach, you're going to get now your second pick. And remember, you've picked a princess, so you can't pick another one. But what would you like to pick? There are still 2 categories where no one's even touched, which is pretty amazing.
So here's the thing: is that I'm almost confident. I'm almost 100% confident no one's going to pick my song. I'm almost 100.
Okay.
Only because there's so many great songs in this overall category.
Song is the deepest category for
sure. You can pick anything, and that's going to be personal preference. So I've been going back and forth on villain and sidekick, and it's because I can't really decide if I think my villain is worth losing a potential sidekick, because I'm gonna be real. I have a sidekick that I would pick because I love the movie, and then I have a sidekick that I'm gonna pick because I think that they are. And I think I also might go with this because I think we might need to debate a little bit, because you might decide that this is not a sidekick, but.
Okay.
If I have to go, if I it's Aladdin. No, if I have to go with what I think the people will want, and what I know the people will want, his face is everywhere. It's Stitch, baby. I'm taking Stitch. I'm taking him.
That counts because it's sidekick and or furry animal creature. So like he fits in the furry creature category, I'd say.
And listen,
I would question if he's either of those things.
He's got fur on him, right?
He's literally got fur.
Because he's an alien?
Or are you thinking because he's a main character?
He is he's the named character. He's the named character.
But it's not Stitch. It's Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah,
to me that means
when I made the categories, the sidekick and or furry animal creature was only because we don't really have a protagonist point to where like the only person kind of getting neglected from this draft is going to be a prince. Where like the furry creatures, you can pick any animal in Disney. Or you can pick a sidekick. That's almost like the miscellaneous category. So, like, I think Stitch would count because he is like a creature of some sort. You know what I mean?
Are we getting our first veto thrown in?
I mean, Matt, if you want to veto it,
okay. Well, I just want to discuss it because
we can discuss.
I just want to discuss it because here's why. Creature, if we're calling an alien who is on their planet the sentient being, if we're calling that a creature, then everyone from every planet, every sentient being from every planet is a creature.
No, what I thought the category was called was not creature; it was furry friend.
Furry friend / creature. Yeah, like I've been a little loosey goosey. I will take the blame there. I think any animal like creature that is not a villain or a princess could count in this category.
No, Dylan, you did great. You let Zach just marinate in his shame because what he's.
This sounds to me like Matt knows that this is a good pick. And
I'm not gonna
love it.
I'm not gonna veto it. I'm gonna say Zach should be allowed to take Stitch. So I'm a vote for. Chad, are you for or against Stitch as a pick?
4. Yeah, 4.
I am gonna. Oh, sorry.
Well, Matt, we know where you stand. Kelsey,
well, I am gonna. I just want to say why. I'm gonna veto based on the fact that he's a named character. Character in the film. Named in the title.
Mm-hmm. I think that argument, if it was a sidekick who was not some sort of animal and he was named in the title, I would say no, but because he is still a furry friend, I would consider.
In that case, I'm going to say because he's not an animal, he is literally the sentient being from his planet.
We're all sentient beings from our planet, Matt.
I know, that's my point.
Well, Kelsey,
you think that he's a dog.
Listen, Matt,
Kelsey,
listen. Let me just say what I have to say. Because I'm just gonna let Zach have it because once again I don't think that this is a very strong pick.
Who did you just pick?
The genie, baby.
Oh, okay.
Robin Williams.
You know what do you remember what I said earlier, Kelsey? How there's 2 Peter Pans, there's 2 Alice in Wonderlands, there's 2 genies. Do you know how many Stitches there are? 1.
Who thinks of William?
Is it the experiment 646 or something like that?
Mr. Slappy.
When you think of the iconic genie from Aladdin, who even thinks of Will Smith with his dinky little goatee?
Here's the thing, guys. The pick is valid. We have only one veto, so Zach, you are getting Stitch as your furry friend.
Let me tell you my reasoning. Let me give you my reasoning because if it was personal, I honestly would have just gone with Dodger from Oliver and Company. Oliver and Company is my favorite. Yeah, shut your. Oh, that's a
good movie.
That's rude.
My God.
Oliver and Company.
As you were, Zach.
Oh my God, Oliver and Company is my favorite Disney movie, and it's so off in the side. No one really knows about it, and I appreciate it for that. But it holds a lot of nostalgia. The reason I didn't pick that is because if you go to Disney World, if you go to Disneyland, if you go to any Disney store, if you literally go anywhere that's associated with Disney, this blue little creature is everywhere. He's everywhere. And I can count on all of our fingers the amount of people we probably know that own something Stitch, whether it's a plush, a phone case, a pin, a hat. My wife owns a Stitch hoodie. She doesn't need that. She bought it because it's Stitch. Ask me how many times she's worn it. It's one, and it was in the park when she bought it in Florida heat. She didn't need that. But that's, to me, it is, Stitch is the ultimate, like, iconic furry friend from any Disney animated feature. No one tops it.
Yeah.
But is it because he's a main character? I'm sorry.
And that's fine. And that's fine.
I also think if we're thinking like sidekick, maybe not, but in terms of supporting, I think, yeah, like Lilo has more of the emotional focus in that movie. Stitch is more of like the supporting character, even though Stitch does get his own arc too. I don't know. I think it's a valid pick, and honestly,
I would like to mention that the sequels and sequel series from that are about Stitch and not about Lilo.
Well, that's not what we're talking about here, Matt. We're talking about the animated features where it's Lilo and Stitch.
Well, and I will also go off of Kelsey's point. That is a good pick, but it was not in my top picks, but it was on my list. I have my draft board here, and it was on my list of potential.
That's cool.
Picks.
Y'all just have bad taste, I guess.
No,
cool.
But what I'm saying is it was on my radar, meaning I think it should count. We've already gotten past that conversation.
I appreciate it.
It's fun.
Yeah. Well, Matt, you get to follow it up now with your pick. Pick 3 of the second round.
Oh, I get to pick now. I'm gonna pick Elsa from Frozen as my sidekick.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's I'm not picking Elsa. I was just pulling a Zach and getting a main character for my sidekick.
Is she furry?
Oh, that's good.
Furry. Is she furry?
I'm actually gonna go with. I know you guys were saying that it's pretty deep, but I actually think that most of my other stuff is fairly. It's not going to be gotten. And yeah, songs are a pretty deep category, but I really don't want anybody to take "Be Prepared" from Lion King.
Nice pick.
Which is the best villain song. I think it's the best Disney song, but it's at least the best villain song.
That is a
game. So I'm taking "Be Prepared" from the Lion King. It's just so good.
I really like that pick. I think you could have gotten it a little later, but I like how you're like sticking to your guns of like, I want to pick my favorite. And I like that because it's also unconventional. So people looking at the graphic will be like, oh, that's an interesting choice. And I'll probably pick that because it's not one of the like princess songs or something like that. Like, I think it's a good pick.
I probably could have gotten it later. I think you're right. But I think that if I hadn't gotten it, I would be more devastated than the other things that I'm not getting it with this pick if I didn't get those. So I just had to get it out of the way so that I made sure that no one else took it.
Yeah,
I like that, Matt. I like that everybody's like coming with their different takes and picks and love of Disney, because that's kind of actually I think my least favorite song in The Lion King. So yes, we're on so different wavelengths sometimes.
That's why I put this panel together. It's awesome.
Me and Matt.
Nice.
And actually, I've never seen Lilo and Stitch either, so I don't get the love for that character either. I've been meaning to. I have had no excuses. It's on Disney Plus, but I still just haven't gotten around to it.
It's about a really wonderful main character, Lilo, and her sidekick Stitch. So don't worry about it.
It's awesome. I've heard great things.
Anyone else have any thoughts on "Be Prepared," or are we going to proceed to Chad's pick?
That's a great pick, honestly. Yeah. And to be honest, it didn't cross my mind, and I'm a little upset that it didn't. I think you're right, Dylan. It's one of those things where a lot of, I don't have a princess song picked, but the Let It Go, don't
give away picks yet.
Oh, I'm not. That's not my pick.
I know, but just because someone else might bring it up later.
Popular one though.
Yeah, true. No,
Let It Go. Yeah. But all of those other very popular songs, especially like anything recent, that kind of sticks out I think in our brains. And so this is so different. Good pick, Matt.
Thanks, Zach.
All right,
you're so welcome.
Chad, you're up now with your second pick. This is your round 2 pick. What are you gonna pick for your pick?
Yeah, so my goal's not necessarily, with the Disney Renaissance wanting to get that one so badly, that was sort of to like maybe sway a poll, stuff like that, but also because it is the most personal to me, and so is the song that I'm gonna pick, because I am slightly afraid someone might pick it, but it's also just very personal because I went through. I mean, I grew up with the Disney Renaissance era, and then I also got into like a big, revitalized period where I was just driving in my car singing all these songs and stuff a lot from the Disney Renaissance. So I have to pick A Whole New World from Aladdin.
Oh, Chad, that was gonna be my pick. Oh,
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
No, that's
I didn't
okay.
know where you were going. My heart was racing. I was like,
Okay.
I was fine because I had already picked my song.
That's good. That's good. And
Thank you, Matt.
Great. That's a great pick, Chad. Great pick, Chad.
Thank you.
It's a
I'm glad
great
that
pick.
Matt got his favorite, even though I, said it was my least favorite. Still a great song. But mine is really personal to me, and I'm gonna get a little deep here, or a little, dark, because it was kind of also a dark point in my life because I had a friend who passed away. But my friend used to drive in my car with me all the time, and this song in particular, I just have a very vivid memory of him in the car with me. We were singing this song. And I was planning on singing both parts, right? And when I started to sing the Jasmine part, holy shit, he screamed at me, "I'm Jasmine, bitch." And I had to just step off. So,
Wow.
sorry.
That's a great memory. Great memory.
I think this song is just, one of the key songs in that movie and the Renaissance period and Disney in general. And I just, I get goosebumps thinking about this song, listening to the song, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna
good part of that movie.
There are gonna be a lot of people who see this on the graphic and say, "Oh, that was my wedding song," or like, "Oh, I sing that with my like spouse," or like, "I sing that like you said in the car with someone." Like that is a very good like popular like let's sing something together song. Like that's a good pick. Anyone have any thoughts on Whole New World?
Good pick.
That's just a classic duet.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with
It's a
that.
good pick.
It's just a bad song. I'm kidding. It's a great song. It's obviously
It's a great song.
good pick, and
Two
it's a nice memory that you have with your friend. I appreciate that story as well. It's
Thank
that's
you.
really good. Anybody have anything negative with the song now that he said this really nice thing about it?
No.
No?
I
Oh,
think
what
we all
a
think that
surprise.
song's great.
I remember watching the Full House episode when Steve was Aladdin, and then found out that Steve is the guy who voiced Aladdin.
Yeah,
That's what I remember.
That's amazing.
That is what I remember. And now on Fuller House, he was a foot doctor. So the mighty have fallen.
I remember that episode as well, and but I already knew that fact, so that was I always thought that was pretty cool. He also plays Indiana Jones in that episode too, doesn't he? And he was but he was never Indiana Jones.
No,
Interesting.
now he's a foot doctor.
Now he's a foot doctor.
Now he plays a foot doctor.
Anyway, we're on to the last pick of round 2, and it is my pick. And we haven't picked any villains yet, but at the same time, I have so many villains that like I don't necessarily need to take one right away. So I'm gonna continue along. I'm gonna take because I get 2 picks. I'm gonna take my princess now because I think this is one that I want to make sure I get. I'm sorry if this is one of your picks, but I'm gonna take. It's probably cliche, but I'm gonna take Belle.
Good call.
I think this is the one. What were we gonna say, Kels? Were you gonna? What?
She was cursing in front of Zach's students. That's what happened.
Once again.
Yeah, no, but I think this is like the pick that I think like a lot of people can see themselves in this role, men or women, like they can see themselves as like this kind of outcast who then like just kind of finds that one person that they do kind of understand that understands them. Like I just love the journey she goes on, and the songs she sings are great. She's got the iconic look, both the blue dress in the beginning and the yellow dress at the end. So like that was one I was like I really want to get her in the first round, if not Ariel. And I knew Zach was probably going to get Ariel, so I'm actually surprised all the princesses except for Ariel were able to get back to me, and I was able to have my pick because there were like 2 or 3 I would have been happy with getting either. But that's going to be my second round pick. Any thoughts on Belle?
No, that's a great pick, dude. I didn't do it, and I was
Mistakes
like,
were made.
Hope I don't regret it, and I don't think I will. But I think that watching Kelsey be upset was worth it.
I will say that I grew up. Okay, so cards on the table. We're not picking Disney movies, so I can just say this. My favorite Disney movie is Beauty and the Beast. It's always been my favorite Disney movie since I was a kid. I've always identified with Beast, not in the I'm going to capture you and put you in a dungeon type of thing, but more in like the feeling, the way he felt like nobody, like how could anybody learn to love a beast, like that whole thing. It's just always been part of my self-esteem all my life. So I've always connected with that movie, and particularly Belle, who is one of those mythical people who could love a beast. And like, so I've always loved her, and she's been my favorite Disney princess since I was a little child, up until I got a new Disney princess, so that was my second choice. So,
wow.
Okay, well, we'll have to find out later. Yeah, what's up, Chad?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say I also love Belle, and that she would have been my second choice after Ariel. So great choice, Dyl. Yeah.
Thank you.
She's just
sorry,
a classic.
Kelsey.
Yeah,
she
But
is.
the thing is, with Disney, like these categories, there's so many classics. You know, like that's why I didn't pick a song or a villain, because like I know that if 5 villains or 5 songs go ahead of me, I'll still be able to get a good one. Which is why for my next pick, my round 3 pick 1, I'm gonna pick my furry friend here, because I think this is a good spot to pick him, because he's iconic enough that I wanted to get him, but not someone that I felt like I needed to get in the first 2 rounds, because I figured I would get him this late in the draft. This may be debated because he's not necessarily a sidekick, even though I can debate that he is a sidekick for someone else. It's Winnie the Pooh. I think Winnie the Pooh is one of the most iconic just figures in cinema, in classic literature, in
Christopher
TV.
Robin, right?
Okay.
Is everyone vetoing?
Oh, I'm about to.
I want to hear your justification.
I want to hear it,
I
main
I
character.
think I might debate you.
This is the category. This is a category where you pick like animals. So like he's a bear. I get he's a stuffed bear, but he's still a cuddly stuffed little creature. That counts. That checks. For the sidekick thing, you don't need to be a sidekick as well, but he happens to be Christopher Robin's sidekick. If you're looking at Christopher Robin's story, he is kind of like that little moral compass on the shoulder. Yes, most of his movies, he's the main character for sure, but like it's still, if you're looking at it in the perspective of Christopher Robin. Anyway, regardless of whether or not he's a main character or sidekick, I think he's eligible because of the furry factor. So that would be my pick. Matt, are you really ready to veto it? You sound like you feel like the wheels are turning in your head.
I was listening to your thing. I didn't say I was vetoing.
No,
you had that look.
I can't wait until someone picks Peter Pan as their sidekick here. With all of the
sidekick of Wendy.
It's more of the furry creature aspect, but because there are people like Genie who aren't really like one thing or the other, like that's where they belong. That's more of the distinction there.
I'm not going to veto it because we allowed Stitch. I think that just the wheels are off, and we can allow it.
What do you think, Zach? Though, Zach, are you going to veto it?
I would like to. Before you say that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. I forgot your name was Zach.
I was talking.
Well, I want to get the veto out of the way first.
I'm kidding.
Before we have to waste our time on it.
I just want to say he's not furry. He's stuffed. Go on.
Fine, but he's still fuzzy.
Here is I'm looking for someone to either say like, yeah, I think on this you should, Zach, or no, don't. So the thing about and Dylan, I'm endlessly thankful for you for giving me Stitch. I appreciate you. Now here's how I'm about to crush your dreams, because that's what this is all about. It's a draft. So the thing for me is that in Lilo and Stitch, right, there are 2 people who share the spotlight, and that's why I felt so confident picking him as a sidekick. Winnie the Pooh is the name of the movie.
Sure. But he fits one of the 2 criteria.
But and the only reason that I'm leaning towards I'm probably not going to veto is because A, you gave me Stitch, but also B, I think that because it's the furry friend, though I am with Matt, it is a very fine line and we are towing it, but I'm going to allow it because I love you and you gave Stitch to me.
I feel like we should just rename
if I believe this.
I feel like we should rename the category for just like miscellaneous creature, furry friend, animal, aliens, or sidekicks.
It is your draft, so you made these rules. Like it's not any of us.
If you guys want me to pick something else, I can pick something else for sure.
No. You leave the category as it is, and I hope it keeps being just batshit crazy. I'm sorry, Zach students.
I was gonna say I pick now to why I did pick this pick. I do think this is like a character I resonate with. I've always like resonated with like the kind of friendly, happy-go-lucky. He's a little bit more stupid than I am, but or at least I think so. But like the Paddingtons and the Poos of the world, even the Teds, who are a little more on the edgier side, but they still got that cuddly softness to them. I think that's what I always like to believe.
Listen, man, no one would ever think of vetoing it if it wasn't a good pick and they didn't want it to come about. That's why you think of it as a veto.
I see now. So you guys want to veto it so you can get it later. I see.
Oh no, I don't want it later, but thank you.
But what are your thoughts? Is that a good pick, do you think? I don't know.
I think it's a great I think it's a great pick.
I love Winnie the Pooh. I mean, he's like I love that whole cast of characters. Like, fan of both Tigger and Eeyore. Like they represent the two sides of my personality. Like, seriously, those are the really sad, depressed guy, and then the really hyper guy.
Manic,
neurodivergence. That's what's happening there. But he's like the anchor. Like I dig that. And no, it's a great pick. Obviously, it's a great pick, and it's just fun that people keep choosing the title characters as their sidekicks. It's funny. But no, it's a great pick.
Sidekick and or main characters or sidekicks that happen to be animals/creatures. There we go. That's how we're
really stretching it now, aren't we?
So the only sidekicks you can pick. Well, actually, no.
Wait. Dylan did. I had to look at it because when Dylan sent Kelsey and I the information, it says a Disney sidekick / furry creature. So it is not just sidekick.
We're back to defending Stitch now.
Okay.
I thought we moved
on.
Oh,
Let's move on with the draft. We're almost halfway through. Chad,
I will say,
yes, Kelsey.
One of my furry friend sidekick picks, like all the way at the bottom, was Piglet because, so that's how I
still available. So
and an acceptable choice.
I already got my sidekick choice, so I'm good. But
anyway, Chad, let's move on from this debate. Chad, what is going to be your next pick?
Well, I do want
to. The mouse is coming off.
I do briefly want to just say I do love Winnie the Pooh as a pick, and I have a question for Dylan. Do you have a rumbly in your tumbly?
Ooh.
Yes, I do. Actually, no. Okay. I just ate a salad, so I don't. But I always do.
Heard it was delicious. All right.
What's gonna be your pick, Chad?
All right, I'm gonna go on and I don't. So with the villain category itself.
Oh, no one's touched it, and here we go.
There's not. Well, I don't know if my pick is the one people love or not. It's the one that I love, I think, the most. And because I was looking through all of the villains and I was like, I kind of dislike most of the villains, and not in the way you're supposed to. I just don't think they're that great. I don't think it's that great of a category, to be honest. I have 3 or 4 that are tops. And so I'm gonna pick the one that I like the most. Even though I said I didn't like his song as much as the other ones in the movie.
No!
I'm picking Scar.
Damn it. Yeah, that was my top villain pick. That was you just broke everyone's draft boards. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do absolutely love Lion King, and it's just Scar, I don't know why I don't resonate with his song that much. I like it more now than I did when I was a kid, I think, but him as a villain just in general, with the song, despite the song, whatever, I just think he's epic. He's just the brother that just hates everything about the royalty and stuff like that. I can identify with that, actually. I think that is kind of a system that shouldn't be, probably, even though it's lions. But I can understand him wanting to take power and be like, why do you get to be the guy or whatever? Why do you get to reign supreme? And I get this scar and shit. But yeah, and then he does the ultimate thing where not only does he kill his brother, but then he his nephew, he says you're to blame for this shit. And sends his hyenas to kill him, and it's just insane. And it's just an epic villain, and his voice acting is amazing, and
Jeremy Irons.
That's a good pick. Yeah, that was my number one villain pick. I would have taken that if it got around to me. I should have honestly picked it now, because I think I could have gotten Winnie the Pooh a little later, but it's okay. You live and you learn.
You definitely could have gotten Winnie the Pooh later.
For sure, Dyl.
Yeah.
It's okay. Gotta go with your heart sometimes, you know. My heart's the same Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
I will say he's not in my top 3, but it is a great pick. It's a great pick.
Yeah.
I should have picked my villain and not my song. Is how I feel right now.
They kind of go one and the same though. Like people see the Be Prepared and they think of Scar, but then they're gonna see Chad has Scar and probably waver that way. But I don't know. It's a good draft strategy too. But I don't know. You live and you learn. You know, that's the point of this first episode is we kind of figure out how the strategy comes into play. But Matt, speaking of, you do have the next pick.
I do, and it was going to be my villain because I wanted to lock that down, but now I need to do some restructuring. So I'm going to go with my princess, and I don't know necessarily that she would.
Kelsey's trembling.
I don't know that she would still I don't know that she would be taken early. Like I probably could have saved this, but like I said, Belle was my favorite for a long, long time, and I loved her so much. But there's something about a Disney princess who, number one, actually does good for her kingdom. Two, whose storyline is not driven by a man or by a relationship.
Yes,
and that is why I'm picking Moana.
Yeah, she was my number 3, baby. That's a great
sigh of relief.
Okay.
I thought you were going somewhere else until you said the man bit, and I was like, yeah, you're going Moana. That's a good pick. I didn't even think of that because I forget that she's a Disney princess now. Yeah.
And she's actual royalty, which is not necessarily the case with all of the people on the who. But there's, like I said, Belle was my favorite for so long. But as soon as I saw that, and I've seen that movie I've seen that movie a lot, and it's not just because I have kids. Like, I encourage them, hey, guys, let's watch Moana. Like, I love that movie. It's not just that the songs are great. It's that character, it means something that character exists, and that her story is not dictated by what the Disney princess stories have been dictated by for 80 years or however long it's been.
It's a good pick.
So,
Good pick. Good.
I will
pick.
say, I think Moana has like one of. If I didn't pick the song that I picked, it was like another one from Disney Renaissance, and then it would have been one from Moana. I won't say it because I don't know if someone else will pick it. That I think is one of the best songs. It's a banger, and and she sings it. So,
same for me. If I didn't pick Be Prepared, it was going to be a song from Moana. Because I think it's one of the best I Want songs of any Disney thing. But anyway. Yeah.
Kelsey gets to breathe a sigh of relief. That's nice.
I thought you were going somewhere else.
I'm glad I didn't take your pick.
Thank you.
So
I am also glad.
Let's move along to Zach, your next pick, which is round 3, pick 4. So you've already taken, what have you taken already? You've taken a furry creature, and you've taken a princess. So now you still have a villain, song, and era up for grabs. So what are you gonna pick?
The era will be last because I don't have to worry about it. I am gonna go with my villain because I don't know if they'll be taken. I went back and forth a lot. And again, like I said, Scar was not on my top, but that's a great pick. And I will tell you, like I had Ursula on my list, who I think is an incredible villain. I just didn't think it felt right to pair them together. Somebody who I think is consistently overlooked is Hades.
No. Kelsey's
2.
just getting destroyed right now.
Yeah.
Great. And it's Hades, baby.
You're joking.
It's hilarious.
Hades, baby. Hades to me.
Now
let's talk about Hades. Hades to me is again kind of like Scar. There's all of the other villains to me. You got someone like Captain Hook who's like he's a pirate. That's his character. Hades and Scar are just evil for the sake of evil. They live it, they breathe it, and that to me is the textbook definition of a good Disney villain. Evil for the sake of evil to be the perfect antithesis to their main character. That is why I didn't pick Ursula, because while Ursula is a phenomenal villain, she's not driven just by evil. She's driven by this like want of something else. And to me, that's not the perfect Disney villain. Hades, brilliant voice acting, brilliant character, and it's just probably aside from Meg, the highlight of that movie.
Because he's hilarious.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Is it James Woods, right? James
It
Woods?
is James Woods. I will say that I mentioned this off camera, and I think it was before Zach was on, but Hercules was it came out when I was in like high school, so I didn't love that movie for like a long time, especially because it came around the time that I was like really into Greek mythology, and I was like, this is all wrong, as though a Disney movie has ever been right about the source material. I will say that he is the highlight. Like, there's the song "Go the Distance," I think, is one of the best Disney songs ever, and that was on my top 3, I think, for songs to do, even though I don't really care for that movie. That song is awesome, and then the highlight for me is James Woods. I will not say that I don't think I agree that he's evil for the sake of being evil. I think he actually kind of has a point, but maybe I'm conflating that with the mythology.
I was going to say, I think his point is that he's Hades, god of death, and therefore god of the underworld, and therefore that is his purpose, is to
You don't even
hell.
know what he's the god of, and you got him as your first pick.
My God, isn't Hades Zeus's brother? I think is very similar to Scar, actually.
Yeah, it's a similar thing, and so anyway, I think it's a fine pick. It wasn't on my radar necessarily.
Thank you so much, Matt.
I think it is the highlight of that movie. I think if we were drafting that movie, it would definitely be on the top of my list. But
Kelsey, anything to say?
It's not appropriate for your students to hear, is what I have to say.
Kelsey, the good news is, Kelsey, that you will now get the next 2 picks because you get 2 back-to-back. So
I'm not worried. She's not going to pick either of my things.
Tell us what your next pick is. And you still have your villain available. You still have your princess available. You still have your song available. So you still have
I gotta know what this
pretty
princess
deep categories.
is, so.
Yeah, I need to. Are you going to take it now? You get 2 picks. So one of these categories you're leaving for last, which you will end up with. So
okay, I think I need to pick my princess right now. I need to lock that down because I don't know. I'm gonna do my princess first because my villain now I have to rethink and reevaluate everything. My song, I don't think anyone who hasn't picked a song yet is going to pick my song. I think I'm fairly confident with that. So right now I'm gonna lock down my princess. And since I couldn't have Belle, I have to go with the second most badass princess in the game, which is none other than Mulan.
Whoa!
I thought you were going another direction.
I thought you were going Jasmine.
She was number 3. She was number 3 for me. I
thought you were gonna go with someone else who carries a frying pan that we want.
It went Moana, Belle, Mulan for me.
Listen, she's right underneath Mulan, Dyl. So it was a close third. But anyway, it's got to be Mulan because for all the reasons Matt picked Moana, that's what I love about Belle and Mulan, and they're very scarce in the princess community. There's very scarce picks where their storylines don't revolve, even if they do have men in their lives. It's not about them. It's not about Mulan getting the prince at the end of the movie. It's about her volunteering on behalf of her dad, who can't go to war, and fighting battle and cutting her hair with a sword. She does it in one smooth flick, and she sings the beautiful song. And it's so empowering to watch, and it's so feel good, and it's so badass and feminist. And I had to pick Mulan.
What's cool about you getting Mulan here is that this draft, the only thing that we're not drafting is heroes and princes. You're not getting any Tarzans or Hercules in this draft, and you end up getting someone who fits in that category of the badass action hero in a way, as well as a princess, which I feel some of these princesses aren't. Not our princesses, but some on the list are not. So that's a good pick.
It's a great pick.
Yeah,
I don't know. You like picking everything that's had a live action remake, Kels? I'm kidding.
Even start with the live action remake.
I actually,
when you think of these characters, no one's mind goes to whatever the remake was. Everyone goes to the classic, the OG, the original. Robin Williams.
Find out.
I rest my case.
I do think again Mulan wasn't on my radar, and I'm almost a little upset about it because I think that's such a good pick. I think you know what, man. Hades, the god of the underworld, will be
Dude.
ready.
I was almost over it. I was just getting over it, and you threw it back in my face.
Well, go ahead, pick your villain, Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey, you do
I
get the first
can't.
pick now in round 4, so you can get either a song or a villain right now, Kelsey. So what would you like?
Oh, good Lord.
Reminding yourself that at the end of this, you will get the very last pick and will be able to pick anything from the remainder of either of 2 categories.
Right. I think I have to go with my song, because like I said, my villain, I have to do some serious like self-reflecting now that my number 1 pick is gone. And honestly, I was going back and forth with my song. I honestly was just on like a Disney hits playlist trying to see if I could find anything better than my song, because you guys are picking, I feel like, such deep cuts, and I'm picking something that's very popular, I'd say. But I just can't find anything better. I feel like this song comes on, everybody knows it, everyone stops what they're doing to sing at least the first 2 lines.
Is it a
It's not a new one.
Oh,
it's not a new one.
I thought you were going there.
I don't think you know what it is, Zach.
No? Really?
I don't know, maybe. It's a pump up song, it's an empowerment song. It's I'll Make a Man Out of You.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So she's going with the 1-2 Mulan punch. That's a good one. That was on my list. So yeah, nice job.
Nice pick.
Yeah. Why that song?
I don't know. I just feel like everybody loves that song. You hear the drums, and then you hear him say, "Let's get down to business," and everyone's like, "Fuck yeah, let's get down."
Donny Osmond singing it too. That's always a plus.
Exactly. It's such a good montage. I love a good training montage. That's where Mulan in the film finally like finds her footing. She is the one who gets to the top of that pole to get the arrow. It's iconic, really. There's nothing better. All right, Matt.
If I may.
Go ahead.
I love that song. I love Mulan. I mentioned before, like that was kind of I wasn't the right age when that came out, but I worked at the video store. We could watch video like G-rated movies throughout the day, and I used to put that one all the time because I love that movie. It's a very, very good movie, and I've always loved that song. You're right; it's a pump-up song. It hasn't aged quite as well as the rest of that movie has. That song, and it's you picked Mulan.
Okay.
For the feminist and how empowering she was and the feminist icon. And then you pick a song that we now realize is kind of sexist and heteronormative. Which to its credit, it was a product of its time. But I will say that is what knocked it down on mine, because it would have been higher for me, except through time it has gone down a little bit for me.
I think if we're thinking of these as like bops, it's a bop. Like I would listen to this
all
day long. If you think of the context, I guess if you think of it in the context,
I'm too old to use the word bop.
In the context of the movie too, like it does add to the overall effect of the feminist theme. Like it does kind of build in context with everything else to emphasize that point. But on its own, I can see how if you take the lyrics just on their own, they can be skewed that way. That's an interesting point. But I still think it's a good song, and people are gonna love that song, and definitely gonna see that on the graphic and be like, "Yep, I'm voting for that." So
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So, just anybody who watched it, hopefully, I'll knock that down a little bit for him.
Chad, you're a big music guy. What do you think of that song?
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with Kelsey. I don't think Matt is like probably wrong. I haven't really analyzed the song, but I've listened to it, and it's amazing. I actually put it the last like 4th of July that I had. I sometimes like try to like DJ the 4th of July parties. I threw it on my playlist because hell yeah, I'm like all my friends are gonna like enjoy singing that song. So yeah, it's a great pick.
Yeah,
thank you.
All right. So, Zach, we're moving on to you for your penultimate pick. Let's see what you still have available. You still have your song and your era available. So
I'm gonna pick my song, and I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be 100% real. This is recency bias for me, which means Dylan probably knows what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm being 100% real with you. I'm really hoping that I don't get emotional, because like this is the only one so I wrote down 3 choices for pretty much everything. I wrote song, and I wrote one choice, and if I didn't get it, I didn't know what I was going to do, and I had a feeling I was going to get it. And it's Out There from Hunchback.
Yeah.
And
I knew you were going there.
Out there,
Zach,
so
Zach is playing Quasimodo now in a production of Hunchback. So
and outside of just playing Quasimodo, I don't know if there's another song for me that kind of like I think Chad might have said at the I want that like I don't know if there's a song that really like perfectly conveys the feeling that the song is trying to like give to the audience in the way that this song does. There is something about the build of it. There's something about the ending. There's something about the absolute like I like a very odd way, like the John Doe-ness of Quasimodo, who like while being so different from everyone is not so different in the fact that he just wants to be accepted by people and he wants to feel like he is a part of the life that he wants. And I don't think I can listen to the song and not feel a swell of just like overwhelming emotion. And honestly, the reason why I even felt so comfortable picking it outside of recency bias is it's all over TikTok. People know this song and people love it. There's something about that I'll have spent one day and the way that take it and you can take it and put it into other songs. It's just I don't think and will people know it when they see the title?
Yes,
I don't know.
I think so.
But I think I can't. It makes my face hurt with the way I smile. And again, it's that recency. Like the way that my show does it. I won't spoil it for Dylan because he's coming on Friday. But the way that my show stages that song, it breaks my heart. And I love it. I love it.
It's a great pick, and it's a great pick. And that movie, I think the movie itself can sometimes be divisive. People either love it or hate it, but I think they can all agree that the music itself is really good in it. Like it's really dark. A lot of the music in that movie and that show, and I think this song is like that really great like I want anthem type thing. Like the Renaissance just nailed those. Like and I know I'm the only one who hasn't picked a song, so I can say a few of them now. But like, you have like Reflection is like that. Go the Distance is like that.
Part of Your World.
Part of Your World. Like all of those songs have a very similar vibe, and they all work because they are so powerful. And the music is great. The moment in the movie is great. Like it always hits at the right moment.
Him sliding down the roof. And it's like when Matt said earlier about Hercules. When Matt said it earlier about Hercules, it does not follow the source material in any way, shape, or form. My in-laws came to see this show and were like, I don't remember it being that sad when I watched the movie. And I said, because it wasn't. It ends very nicely in the Disney movie. They all live happily ever after. No.
They all live, period.
Not in Victor Hugo's novel. No, sir. But I couldn't have picked. I didn't want to pick anything else.
Cool. Yeah, great pick. Anyone else have thoughts on that?
I will say just briefly because this falls with the Hercules and that era where I was not the right age. So I saw this once back when it came out. I don't know this song, but you talked about it so passionately that I might turn it on as soon as we're done.
Please, honestly, please do. It really I can't tell you enough. It is one of the most emotional experiences you'll have with the song. Oh my God!
I kind of want to watch that whole movie right now, just because. And I've always been one of those when he was saying like you either love it or you hate it. I've always been like I saw it once, I didn't really care for it. It's fine. I now want to go watch that whole movie to experience that song in the context of the movie. You've sold me on that movie, and I'm gonna watch it.
I was legit. I'm trying to think of the song in my head. I can't really hear it, so I don't have the same passion as Zach. But I was going to say the exact same thing that Matt said. It's just hearing that passion about anything was just amazing. So great pick,
y'all.
Kelsey, thoughts?
It's a good pick with a powerful message. So
there we go.
Nothing but nice things to say over here, Zach.
Wow, Kelsey, I'm sorry about Hades. My bad.
He has to keep talking about it, doesn't he?
Don't you dare mention his name.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You're unworthy.
So Matt, you now have your third pick, third pick in round 4, your fourth pick overall. And just to remind you, you have not picked your sidekicks or or furry friend.
Yeah,
and you have
sidekick
not-
/ any
you've not
character in
picked-
the movie / furry
And
friend.
you've
Yeah, I
not
got it.
picked your villain either. So, what would you like?
Okay. Honestly, I did a disservice to myself by not coming up with a backup for Scar. I should have known he was gonna go, and but I'm just gonna get it out of the way because no one's picking my sidekick, and you may have all already picked sidekicks at this point.
Chad hasn't, but yeah.
Chad hasn't, but he's not gonna pick it. I promise. And if he does, well done. But I'm gonna go with villain, and honestly, I think I'm gonna go with God damn it. Oops, sorry, Zach students. I'm gonna go with I just changed my mind this second. I'm going with Cruella de Vil.
That's a good pick.
Fun.
Because
good pick.
Because and I was just about to go with a different one a second ago, but when I think about just truly evil and the fact that there's a in-universe song, not even a song like a Disney version of a song, but he writes an in-universe song about how evil she is on his piano in that movie in 101 Dalmatians. Yeah. It's the thing about her evil is that it's evil in real life. Like she does something that real people do, which is hurt animals, and it's real evil. Most of these other evils are fantasy evils or not really ones that we have to deal with on a daily basis or anything like that. And not that we have to deal with hurt animals on a daily basis unless you work with that, but it is something that gets me to my core. I have a visceral response to the idea of it. And she's just pure real evil. And that's
I do have to say one thing. My villain also killed an animal. So
wow.
Because his villain was Scar. Of course he killed an animal.
Scar did kill an animal. For a second I thought he hadn't picked it yet. I was like, who's left?
I was like, who is that?
I was like, I guess Ursula eats a shrimp, I guess.
I thought you were talking Clayton from Tarzan or some shit like that.
Yeah, no.
Stuff like that.
No one wants to hang with him. No, but I will say to Kelsey's point earlier about like no one thinks of the remake, or was that you who said that, Kelsey? Like no one thinks of the remake when they think of these
that was
first.
me, and I stand by that.
I think this is the only exception to where like now because of this new movie, she's even more popular, and that's not to say that this is a diss against the animated, but like I think this newer movie and Emma Stone really surged the popularity for this character to where like people are going to see the original on the graphic, but also think, oh, and they had that really fun spinoff last year. I didn't personally love it head over heels that movie, but it was a lot of fun. Like it was a really fun like Devil Wears Prada meets Disney movie. Like I think that character, there's just so much to explore with her. But even if you don't do the extra digging on the surface, just the sheer notion of killing puppies alone is enough for anyone to be like, yep, you're a crazy villain. And that's I think a lot of strength in your corner.
I like Cruella, the movie Cruella, if I think about it as an alternate universe version of the character. There's no chance that character in that movie becomes Cruella de Vil in this other one because they sucked all the evil out of her intentions, and you can't do that because there's not a not evil reason to kill those puppies. Like that's just the truth. And so, but I thought the movie was fine, but she's not the evil character that I'm talking about here.
So moving along to round 4, pick 4, Chad, you now have your option of either your princess or your sidekick / whatever you want it to be.
I'm gonna keep thinking about my sidekick. I'm gonna go with my princess now, and I was thinking about the ones that are left, but also I actually ranked mine, and I'm gonna go with what I had initially for my third pick, even though I gave each one a little bit of a thought. And this one, because I passed on doing I almost went with the Golden Age for my era pick, and I didn't. So I want to give a little bit of love over to the Golden Age. I'm gonna go with the freaking like very first one. I'm gonna go with Snow White.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
Yeah,
good pick.
I love that movie. It's just a classic. It's not that long. It's just really fun watch. people love like the Seven Dwarves. They talk about like Stitch on shirts. They have like Dopey everywhere on shirts and just like stuff like that. People love Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and I think it is definitely a great film. And I also like I was kind of reading when I was watching it one time about Adriana Caselotti, and she was actually the voice actress. It's kind of like a weird story. I think, Dylan could probably correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like they kind of like copyrighted her voice, and then she could not get work after that because her voice was owned by the Disney Corporation. And then all of her roles are like uncredited.
Wow.
And I think
because
it's
also
really sad.
She's got such an iconic voice too. It's the very high pitch, almost Minnie Mouse like quality that you don't hear in any other Disney princess. And I think that's the one thing about the princesses in general, is that each one, their voice is very distinct. Even in the Renaissance, their singing voices especially are distinct. In modern day, like it's like Idina Menzel as Elsa. Like you think of the actress, and this is the greatest example of that. Like you just hear the character when you say the name.
But yeah.
When you sorry,
Right.
Adele Dazeem. But when you say the name and you just like trigger
Adele
that voice in your
Dazeem.
head, Snow White is the most instantly recognizable voice, even amongst those recognizable voices, and she is the one that started it all. Like we wouldn't have this without that character. Some do find her a little annoying because of her voice, but I think it adds to her sweetness and kind of naivete, I guess. So I think it's a good pick, especially if you're going for an older pick to kind of like cover the bases in terms of eras too. Like it's nice because we've been very Renaissance heavy to kind of go back and honor one of the older ones. But anyone else have thoughts?
Well, I mean, I wanted to continue just a little bit real quick because, I mean, it's just like one of those where you sometimes you have to go back to the classics. I'm very basic sometimes with a lot of my tastes. I love freaking Dorothy, the Wizard of Oz, all of that. Like it's just my thing. And just Snow White just really I think hits, because it's just a simple story. She goes and she finds unlikely friends, and they all love her. And like the dwarves love her, the furry creatures in the woods love her. It's just the classic thing when you think of a Disney princess. I think that's what it is. Even though we've evolved a little bit to see like women get like their own like agency and stuff like that. I think that's great and everything. But I also think that the classic Disney is fantastic, and that's why I picked her.
I would like to go on record that I also think it's great that women have agency.
I third that.
I will say that. Yeah.
I fourth that. Yes, of course.
I was just taking it.
Well, I mean, if the last few years have taught us anything, you can't just assume things about people, about men.
Right.
Like, we want to know, where do you stand?
Which really true, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is. Okay, so
I don't like this bit anymore.
That was great.
It's too real.
Snow White. I think it is a good pick. I think it's a good strategic pick. I don't have a problem with her voice so much. It's more of what you were talking about, like with women having agency. It is kind of the anti-Mulan Moana situation, where she is almost the minor character who has no agency. And she tries to teach the Seven Dwarfs how to do things and stuff, but when I think back to that movie, almost every good part doesn't involve her. And I don't think that's the character's fault as much as it is the time. I think it's a good strategic pick. And that I will say that.
Nice. Kelsey, any thoughts on Snow White?
Listen, I don't have any problems with Snow White because she's like very classic. It's about, boy meets girl. She, spends most of the movie cleaning after 7 other men. That's not my issue with Snow White. It's just that she's just kind of boring.
I disagree.
I don't know. I will say though, that scene when she's running in the forest, like that has haunted me to this day. Like from like the huntsman who was trying to like cut out her heart or something. Scary. Like, that traumatized me as a child. But like Chad, you were saying, like, everyone has like sweatshirts with like Dopey on them, or like any of the other like Seven Dwarfs. It's like Snow White isn't like, I feel like the big memorable takeaway from her own movie. You know what I mean? There's other aspects.
I mean, I say the same thing for Mulan and like Mushu, honestly.
Right.
Like, Eddie
Yeah, I
Murphy is
Alright.
more memorable than her in that movie, I think.
Yeah. Well, also
I
will
think
tell.
Mulan has more to do in her movie.
I will tell you,
True.
Kelsey, my grandmother's favorite princess is Snow White. She has Snow White shit all over her house. So like,
Yeah.
some
So
people
shut up,
do
Kelsey.
have Snow White
Hey,
memorabilia.
hey!
No, that was
What
not.
do I
That was not a
know?
dig.
Students
That was not a
watch
dig.
this show.
That was not a dig at Kelsey. More of a support in Chad's pick because I think Chad picked a good pick. And you know we're in the later rounds. Like it's like you're not always gonna get like the top of the top. You're gonna kind of like pick something a little
That
bit
was
more
my
personal.
third pick, though.
Yeah, but a little bit more
I-
personal than like the popular pick. You know what I mean? Because the popular picks are your Ariels, your Bells, you know. And I like
Yeah.
that we're all kind of going more personal with our personal preferences because that's what
Right.
I like this draft to be. You know.
Well, like I said, I think it's a good pick. Although I agreed with Kelsey, like I basically said the same things like Kelsey had. Like it's the same situation. I think it's a good pick, though. I think it's a good, it's a good pick. It'll look good on your list.
Yes.
Yeah, and I
So-
think that there's something special about being the first thing.
I agree,
Mhm.
and the
know?
classic thing, like
Trailblazer. And honestly, along that route, my next pick is my. Everyone's picked their song, so I'm going to pick a song. And I know this has been very Renaissance heavy. All four of you picked a Renaissance song. Whole New World, Be Prepared, Out There, Make a Man Out of You. I was going to pick a Lion King song, but I think going up against Matt, I don't want to have two Lion King songs on the graphic because I don't want that to steer things away. I wanted to get Lion King on this somehow, and I got the Renaissance, so I'm okay with that. So I'm going to throw it back all the way classic. And when I think of Disney, I'm going to pick the song that I think is synonymous with the brand, with the spirit of imagination.
Okay.
When You Wish Upon a Star from Pinocchio is my pick for my song.
Wow.
I think this is the one where, like, if you're going to listen to all these songs, this isn't, of all these 5 songs, this is not going to be the one that you're going to put on a playlist at a party. This is not going to be the one that you drive in the car listening to, but it is the one that I think captures the magic the most in terms of just like the spirit of these movies in general and just that fairy tale nature. I think, you know, I watched this movie earlier today because I'm studying for a Disney match that I'm doing next month, and I've been starting from the beginning.
Nice.
And I said, you know what, today's draft day, I'm going to start now today with my binge. I started with Snow White and Pinocchio, and I think Pinocchio just that it opens the movie and it closes the movie, and it's this beautiful moment with the star in the sky, Jiminy Cricket singing. Jiminy Cricket was in my honorable mentions for sidekick. Like, I really love that vibe as well, like him kind of being the one to lead you into the movie. And you know, we hear it every time you see a Disney movie. The castle comes up, you hear the da 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 da. Like it's always there. It's the anthem. It is on the Disney Cruise Line when they blow their foghorns. It's that's their sound. Like it is synonymous with the brand. So I did want to pick something that I think
Dill.
showcases the brand well, and that I can make a well-rounded, you know, draft board with, because I have like newer people like Belle and the Renaissance, and I have Winnie the Pooh, who's like timeless. But that song is more my classic pick because my next pick is going to be a very fresh new pick. So that's my pick. Anyone have thoughts on that?
I think if you were going to pick that,
good.
So.
Good.
It's a good pick. I kind of feel similar to how I felt about Snow White, which is that it's a good strategic pick. I do think that iconography is a big. It's its thing. Like it is the anthem. You're absolutely right. I think it's you're right. It's not one you put on your playlist. It's certainly.
I mean,
I do.
I
I mean, you would. Honestly, I would too. But we're weird. It's not a person who. It's not a normal person wouldn't put that on their playlist probably. But it's certainly not, like, in my opinion, one of the best songs, but it is the song, and so I think it's a great pick.
Cool. Chad?
I just want to say, I do think, you know, this song definitely has its own merits, not just being the classic song that it is, because it just does have that message about, you know, dreaming. And that's exactly what Disney is. It's like being in a dream. When you go to the parks and they show you things that you never thought you'd ever fucking see, like the shows, you know, over the water and stuff like that. And I'm like, how do they do this magic and sorcery? And then I'm like, you know, just the dreaming of that song, I think is just, you know, it captures everything about Disney and what you want to get out of Disney. And, you know, so.
Yeah,
I nodded like I've ever been to one of the parks.
I hope you get to go one day.
I do hope you get to go one day.
Zach or Kelsey, any thoughts?
No, I think that's a brilliant pick. Again, it's one of those, like, I feel warm and fuzzy just thinking about it, because I can even see When You Wish Upon a Star, like I can see the fireworks over the castle.
Yeah.
And it just, like, it evokes that emotion, and, like, you know, I'm I'm with Chad. I'm a music guy. Like, bravo. When a song is good, when it makes you feel, and Disney's really good at that overall. But when they can take songs like that and they can spin it outside of the movie itself. I mean, like Pinocchio. If you asked how many people who remember that that's from Pinocchio, they probably wouldn't. But they know that song plays at the park every single night.
Plays at the park, plays in the theater when you get there, and so I like the pick. Obviously I picked it, so I like the pick. But moving on, we are in the last round, which means we're getting like the last of what we still need, and I have gotten everything except for a villain. My number one villain was Scar, so after that I said, you know what, I'm going to take a back seat because Chad stole that from me. And
has Kelsey picked a villain yet?
She is not either. No. So
me?
No.
Oh, I'm nervous.
You know damn well I haven't picked a villain, sir. So
he's sticking that wound.
Zach, you're stabbing the wound over and over and over again.
Twisting the knife.
Anyway, when I thought of this, I was like, you know what? The first 4 picks are so all over the board and so classic that I want to pick something that's fresh, spunky, and new. Not new in the terms of like it's still 20 years old or so, but I want this pick because it's a fun pick. It's going to play well on the graphic for those nostalgic picks. I'm picking Yzma from Emperor's New Groove as my.
That was my number 2, Dylan. Way to go!
You're kidding me.
Is that Kelsey's pick? Is that Kelsey's pick? Oh my god, I took Kelsey's.
I didn't think anyone was going to think of Yzma.
Well, you know what? I'm very
happy.
I
crossed her out because I thought no one would get her. That's crazy.
I'm sorry,
It's
Kelsey.
over.
But hey,
It's
Kelsey,
over.
this means you
It's
will get
over
the
for my
choice.
ass.
You'll get the choice of your villain at the end, so you still have a lot of good ones to choose from. But yeah, Yzma is going to be my pick because I think she's different than a lot of my other picks. I don't want to say they're safe picks, but like they are very much in the classical, like repertoire. It's Belle, it's Winnie the Pooh, it's When You Wish Upon a Star, it's the Renaissance. Nice. But I'm picking Yzma as my like wild card to kind of like spice up my draft a little bit. So I'm done. I picked my 5. That's my draft. So now we're moving on to Chad with his final pick. Oh yeah,
great coming in clutch pick, Dylan. Yeah. Emperor's New Groove, man. There isn't enough time right now to talk about it.
I feel so bad for Kelsey.
It's one of the best. Oh my god, very.
Just like
Kronk was on my sidekicks. Kronk was on my sidekick. The spinach
Kronk was on my sidekick.
Brilliant.
You can still pick Kronk as a villain, Kelsey.
No, she already picked.
She didn't pick one yet.
That's actually the point I was about to make is that Yzma's great.
Yeah.
But she's not the entertaining villain in that movie. She is great though. And she's entertaining. I will not say she's not entertaining.
She's evil.
She's not the memorable. She's very evil.
Yeah, he's not as evil. He makes nice spinach puffs. She is stabbing people with knives hidden under her dress.
The spinach puffs.
Absolutely. The spinach puffs.
All right, so
the
poison for Cusco, the poison made specifically kills Cusco's poison.
So good.
So while Kelsey like sits and reels over her last pick, let's move on and go to Chad's last pick of his draft. He still, I believe, needs what? Do you need a sidekick or a furry or a, whatever you want to call it? What are you gonna pick, Chad? Because this is also something that needs. Matt also needs one of these. So.
First, I do want to second the Yzma pick was great because I love her. She's hilarious. Kronk as well, and I almost thought about maybe doing Kronk for my sidekick. I thought about freaking Figaro because he's an adorable little kitty cat. There's a lot that I was like mulling over about what to pick. I almost thought about Jiminy Cricket. And then Dyl picked the song, and then I'm like, well, maybe not. And then I'm thinking, like, I think one is just like one of the most iconic Disney sidekicks, has like some of the best songs ever that like no one really picked, and I'm gonna pick Sebastian.
That's a good pick.
That's a good pick.
Yeah,
good pick.
Really, really good pick. Oh,
Samuel
damn.
E. Wright, I think he died recently in 2021.
He passed away last year. Yeah.
Which is very sad, but he had like some of the most iconic Disney songs, and Sebastian's always getting the party started, helping move the plot forward, and he's just a really great sidekick, I think. Under the Sea, Kiss the Girl, it's just like. beautiful. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. But I just think
Yeah,
it's a great.
he's got the best songs
side
in that
pick.
movie too. I think
Yeah.
Under the Sea and Kiss a Girl are my favorite too. I like Part of
Well,
Your
I
World,
do
but
love
I think
Part of Your World.
yeah,
Though,
I do
but
think
yeah.
those ones are though I'd like to listen to more because he's so great. Like I
Mhm.
love the accent, love the whole approach
Yeah,
to the character.
he's iconic. He is iconic.
Yeah, and Under the Sea won an Oscar, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for best
Yeah.
original song. Yep. Any other thoughts on Sebastian?
So good.
It's great. It's a great pick. He also has a song that doesn't age well, which is "Kiss the Girl," which has a line.
We respect women's agency.
Yes, we do. Which has the line that there's probably she wants it too. There's one way to ask her, and if that way is not asking her with your mouth, like with the words, then you're doing it wrong. No, but that's a great pick. That's just the point I always make when we listen to that with my family.
So Matt, it is now your pick to get your final, which is your sidekick. Or
so
furry
my
fuzzy.
sidekick, as I said, no one was ever going to pick, and this one's just for me. This is not. I don't know if this is going to win anything. This is. I almost picked Kronk because he's a great sidekick. But I did go with a villain's sidekick and not a hero sidekick, to be honest with you, I fell in love with this character in the from the live action version, not the animated version, but the animated version is still the best part of the movie for me, and that is Smee from Peter Pan.
Okay.
Bob Hoskins as Smee is one of my favorite performances
Yes, sir.
of all time. However, we're not talking about the live action; we're talking about the animated. But that role in live action is so good because he's able to mimic that of a really great sidekick character from Peter Pan. I'm not a big fan of Peter Pan, the movie itself. My wife is. Don't let her hear me say that. But I'm not the biggest fan of that. But I am a big fan of Smee because he's not evil. He's not evil at all. He's just a sidekick, and he's cute and he's cuddly, and I love him, and that's all.
Yes, he's not furry, but he is a sidekick, so he will pass. Yeah, good pick. I think it's interesting that no one picked Captain Hook, and someone still has a villain pick left, so who knows if she will. But yeah, I think that's a good duo. I think Smee it has some really fun bits, so I love that pick. Great character in Disney World too if you do meet him, because I think Matt, I want you to get to Disney World someday so you can take a picture with Mr. Smee because he is he's a joy. Little glasses on the nose, so fun.
Mm-hmm.
So fun.
We have a plan to take our kids. So,
nice. Yeah, I cannot wait for that. That's gonna be a life-changing moment. Anyone else have thoughts on Smee?
So good.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Cool. All right, so Zach, this is now your last pick, and I believe you have to pick your era. So you still have the golden, bronze, and wartime eras to choose from.
I can't wait to hear about this.
Wait. Sorry.
I can show you what they are. Yeah. The golden age is the original 5, the wartime then being the 6 next films produced during the war, and then the Bronze Age, which is also known as the Dark Ages, is right after Walt Disney's death.
I was confused.
Yep.
So I am gonna pick. I'm gonna pick the Dark Age.
Ooh.
Which I know might not be. Can you pull it up again, Dylan, for me, just so I see which ones? So the reason I'm picking the Dark Age is, and I don't know if we were all here when I said that I might have picked Dodger, and Kelsey laughed, actually audibly laughed.
It's voiced by Billy Joel. I love Dodger.
So here's the thing: is that you can take it down, Dill. Thank you.
Take it down, Dill.
Take it down. So the thing about the Dark Age for me is that I feel like the Dark Ages is the era that is filled with probably the most amount of pure nostalgia, right? You've got the Renaissance, which is all of everyone's like childhood, but that's always kind of like in your face. Things like Winnie the Pooh, Oliver and Company, The Rescue. You know what I'm talking about. I need
Rescuers. Yeah, you're right.
The Rescuers, Fox and the Hound, Aristocats. Like these wonderful, maybe not as popular, but what they lack in popularity, they make up for in nostalgia. I mean, like again, I'd be more you've still got Winnie the Pooh on there, The Adventures of Winnie the Pooh on there. I'd be super concerned, honestly, if there was only Winnie the Pooh, but you've got the Aristocats, and Marie is everywhere in every Disney store. She is iconic to that to the Disney franchise. I love Oliver and Company. This is like, again, one of those very personal things. The way I knew my wife was probably going to be my wife was for my birthday the first year we were dating. She remembered that I told her that Oliver and Company was my favorite. So, and he's not anywhere near me, but she went on eBay and bought me a Dodger plush, like stuffed animal, which I didn't even know that they made.
It's probably from the 80s when it came out.
It for sure is, baby. And I think that what it lacks, and I think truthfully, this is my weakest pick of all 5, and I know that, which is why I'm okay with taking it, because for me, it right, and it holds a lot of nostalgia. But the one thing I think that it holds over the options A that were left, because I'm going to be real. Dylan, did you get the Renaissance? Because I missed it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I the minute we started and you picked number 1, I was like, the Renaissance is gone. But the Dark, I think that is just so clearly popular. The thing about the Dark Age is that there are a lot of them that they lack in popularity. The people who love those movies love those movies. True. And they will swear by them. They will swear by them. So I'm again, it's my weakest, but I'm happy with it because it's got my favorite all-time Disney movie in there, and I think other people's too.
Yeah, I honestly am surprised that the Golden Age is on the board after all these picks, only because I mean, some of those are like the most iconic ever. But again, like some people watch Fantasia nowadays, or even Dumbo or Bambi, and they're like, "This is kind of boring."
And Dumbo and Bambi are sad, man.
They're down.
They're not feel good Disney. They are from the era where you were hit with Bambi's mom, you were hit with Dumbo's mom, and you were just like, okay.
Fantasia is the only Golden Age movie that I really rewatch, just because I really love that movie. And the other ones,
give that another watch. Yeah.
The other ones, Fantasia's fantastic. I could watch that one all the time.
So good.
The other ones just kind of don't hold up for me because I think there are better versions of the stories told since then. But honestly, Dark Age one is a value pick. You got it late, and it's not the flashiest, but it's got Fox and the Hound. You know, it's got,
and that's another that is ooh, if you ever.
But that's the argument though. If you're arguing against Bambi though, you got to argue against Fox and the Hound too, because
no, for sure. But it's one of those where like it gets Bambi is sad immediately. Fox and the Hound, it's a little sad in the beginning. And then you're like, they're fun. It's fun. And then the end, you're just like, okay, man.
I would say that the sadness in Fox and the Hound is teaching a real life lesson that Bambi isn't really teaching. I mean, there is something in there, but not in the same way that the Fox and the Hound is teaching the lesson. So it's, the Rescuers, like, I grew up, I was an actual child during the Renaissance, like through the whole Renaissance. But before those, while I was waiting for those to come out, those were the movies. The Dark Age movies were the ones that I was watching, and those are the ones that I originally would have called the Disney movies I grew up with before the Renaissance really started and got going. So that's a good pick.
Yeah. So I just gotta throw in my thing. Like I do think it's a good pick. I probably would have went Golden myself. I mean, I think when you look at Golden, you look at Zach's, they all have like problematic stuff in a lot of those movies, like Aristocats, stuff like that.
For sure.
But, when you take all that stuff away and you look at the films themselves, I think like with the Golden Age, you get like Pinocchio. I think that's going to rank super high in any like Disney ranking personally, I think, and then Matt also praised Fantasia, but I do understand, I think a lot of, when you look at Zach's pick there, I think a lot of those movies, you would probably use the word underrated for a lot of them. Mm-hmm. So, definitely interesting pick there.
I went for the whole rather than the singular. I think that's for me. And again, I said this earlier. Yeah. I said this earlier off camera. There's at least one movie in there with a level from Kingdom Hearts, so we're good to go. And it was it's been in all 3 Kingdom Hearts, not just one in like a little side one. Like
little
one.
Story.
Which one is it? I want to know.
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Winnie the Pooh has a level in all 3.
Wow. So, Kelsey, you get to close us out with your villain pick. This is going to be the last pick of the draft. You have any villain you want that isn't Yzma, Scar, Cruella, or Hades. So you really have a huge potluck of choices. So what would you like to pick as your final pick in the draft, in the Disney draft 2022? Because I imagine we may revisit this someday. But 2022 Disney draft, how are you closing it out?
Listen, I feel like it's going to be very anticlimactic. I feel like it's going to be a pick that people hear and might be a little bummed about. Maybe because it's a little bit on the basic side. I'm not sure. But this is my number 3 pick, obviously, because my number 1 and number 2 were taken. But I will say, though, when I saw this movie in theaters, I was flabbergasted. This bastard had me fooled the entire time.
Oh,
I was
I know who
being
it's gonna
pulled
be.
along
Yes.
by his little string the entire time, and then he just goes, "If only there were someone out there who loved you." And my heart broke, and it's Prince Hans from Frozen. And
Hans
that
of the
is
Southern
my
Good
Isles.
pick. That's a good
Wow,
pick.
I
Prince Hans of
did
the
not see that
Southern
coming.
Isles.
Didn't even
Yeah.
consider
It's a
that,
great
dude.
twist in that
Yeah,
movie.
dude. Way to go.
It
Way
was
to
a
go.
really
I'm going to
good
tell
Way
you
to
one thing,
go.
Kelsey, I'll tell you one thing. Of all the categories, the only time Frozen is represented is the eras. So I think getting a Frozen pick is going to be really helpful
Way to
for
go.
a voter when they vote for these polls, because again, we don't have El Serrano on the
Yeah.
poll. We don't have
I
Let It
thought
Go.
about it. I thought
that's
Way
about
to
big.
go,
both-
man.
all 3 of
Way
those.
to go.
Yeah, that was good.
And I didn't want to do a Frozen pick really for any of these because I feel like everyone's so tired of this movie being shoved down their throats in like every capacity, between like Let It Go and how much it's played, and like Olaf is like a nonsense character at this point. We all still love him, but like there's just so much of this movie everywhere. So I was really trying to avoid it at all costs, but like something about this cheeky motherfucker that I just
Good.
Yeah, and he's got one of
That
the
is
great
good.
songs. Love is an Open
And
Door
he's-
is an awesome
and he's got a
song.
great song.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our draft, guys. I mean, we will go through each category real quick and like give any honorable mentions we had, but I do want to read off what our draft boards do look like. So, starting with my draft board, I have the Disney Renaissance as my era, Belle as my princess, Pooh as my furry creature, When You Wish Upon a Star as my song, and Yzma as my villain. Chad picked the revival era for his era, Whole New World for his song, Scar for his villain, Snow White for his princess, Sebastian as his sidekick and or animal. Matt picked the post-Renaissance era, picked Be Prepared as his song, Moana as his princess, Cruella de Vil as his villain, and Mr. Smee as his sidekick. Zach picked Ariel as his princess, Stitch as his furry creature, Hades as his villain, Out There as his song, and the Dark Ages as his era. And Kelsey picked the Silver era, picked Genie as her sidekick, Mulan as her princess, Make a Man Out of You as her song, and Hans of the Southern Isles as her villain. So those are the draft boards, very strong across the board. Let's just go category by category. Villains, a few notable ones on the board were Captain Hook, Gaston,
Mother Gothel, baby.
Gothel, Ursula,
And Jafar were not. I was surprised. Those were the ones that I almost said those two before I decided to go with Cruella. So
another underrated one, Abuela in Encanto. She's the villain.
Dylan, that's where I thought you were going when you were like, I'm going to pick someone relatively new. I was like, is he about to pick Abuela?
Yeah, and then he chose one that's 20 years old,
which is newer than Snow White. You know, like it's new in that regard. Not new, but it's newer. Kelsey's is the newest. But Chad, did you have any honorable mentions for villains?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this one like super counts, but I think it's probably one of the scariest villains. Is the freaking Chernabog.
Oh yeah,
Holy shit, that thing is scary.
Okay, so that one used to scare me when I was a kid, but I also really love Ave Maria, and that's how they defeat him.
Kingdom Hearts, baby.
Scary as hell. Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts.
I also had I don't know. I had like Jafar, Maleficent.
Maleficent! I didn't even write her down. I forgot about.
I had Frollo on there. Again, that's recency bias, but that is another one where evil is evil. But I stayed away from him because I was like, we will have a very long conversation about something a little bit deeper than just evil, and it's religion.
Yeah. Maybe not the time place. But no, that's a good villain pick and a great villain song. Hellfire is awesome.
Anyone want to talk about that with me? My DMs are always open.
Anyway, anyone else have any villain honorable mentions, or should I move on? Anyone else?
I guess I said
So moving on to Princess, obviously I have the list of them, so I'll just read off what was left. Rapunzel was left on the board, which I was surprised about. I thought because she was newer and fresher. Some of the OGs, Cinderella was not picked. Jasmine, Aurora, Elsa and Anna, Princess Tiana, Pocahontas. Merida's not eligible because she's Pixar, but Raya from Raya the Last Dragon also technically sort of a
the
princess
only
novel.
ones out of that list I kind of wish I would have picked, maybe other than loving Snow White so much as maybe Elsa or Anna, because those are great.
Yeah,
Anna was considered for me.
Elsa's a queen, so maybe
Anna
she could have been
considered for sure.
I had written Frozen 2 Elsa specifically. Like that is, if I have it, I literally wrote yep, there it is. Frozen 2 Elsa. Because I think that Frozen 1 Elsa is good, but I think Frozen 2 Elsa gets more of that, like, okay, we get to see like what's more going on up there, which is what I enjoy more about it.
Yeah, so, I almost went with Anna. I'm sorry, Chad, but I'm not a big fan of the princesses who fall asleep. Like, so that was a lot of those where the princesses who fall asleep.
Yeah.
Or who lose a shoe, like that whole thing, like that's their thing. I'm not really into that, which is why the golden era just really isn't for me.
Yeah.
But I guess there's only a couple things. Anyway, but Anna, I don't know. There's something about Anna that she grows and learns throughout the movies and that's basically what those movies are about, or her like learning to accept things and learning to change and stuff. Like I really dig that about her.
She's a very relatable princess.
She is.
Yeah.
Moving on to some honorable mentions for now, the sidekicks and or furry creatures, whatever you want to categorize them. I mean, two of them.
Every other Disney character.
Two of the big ones I wanted though were Timon and Pumbaa. I just couldn't figure out which one to pick, so I didn't pick either.
I think it would have been acceptable to do both of them at the same time.
Lump them together.
Well, if I knew that, then Winnie the Pooh would be on the outside looking in.
I'm going to be honest. I had considered them as well. I'm a huge fan of Hamlet. It's one of my favorite plays. I love that story. Timon and Pumbaa are the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern of that movie, and I love those characters in Hamlet, and every version of the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern characters in every movie are just like generally my favorites, and so I love them, and so they have to be together.
Yeah, I also considered Simba only because he is furry, but I was like, it was the main character thing of like the sidekicks in that movie. I think are better than Simba.
I had Baymax written down.
That's
that was one.
Damn.
That's
a good pick.
Baymax was a sleeper pick that if y'all had vetoed Stitch, I would have gone to Baymax because I mean, again, like he's not the most popular, but if you've watched that, like,
he gives the feels.
And it's just like perfect.
Yeah, another newer one too that I consider was Vanellope von Schweetz. Love that character, such a fun character.
Wreck-It Ralph didn't get any love.
Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph didn't get any love. Actually, it did because
I think the revival, baby.
Chad picked the revival era, which had some Wreck-It Ralph in it. But Chad, did you have any other honorable mentions for the sidekicks?
Yeah. I had like I said, Jiminy Cricket and Kronk, but also Abu, Tinkerbell, Timon and Pumbaa, Thumper, Pacha. And I did actually have Genie, but I ranked him last.
Pacha.
So
I would have accepted.
Matt, did you have any more?
I just want to say, would the llama version of Cusco count for your furry sidekicks?
I think so.
I would say yes.
This game is
he's a furry creature, yes.
Right?
It's not. I'm just checking.
No, he's the
next time we do this
movie.
draft. If we do 2.0, I will have a separate category for sidekick and a separate character for fuzzy animal. Okay.
Dylan, I think your category is great.
You know this is a bit, right? I'm not upset at your. Okay.
No, but Kelsey, did you have any honorable mentions?
Did anyone say Mushu at any point?
No,
he was on
Chad
my list.
mentioned it earlier.
I
did.
did.
Him earlier, but not.
He's funny.
I mean, during the honestly, Mushu's fun and he's got some of my favorite lines, but he distracts in that movie from me. He's not one of my favorite parts of that movie. But that could be because I discovered that movie when I was an adult and not a child. So
anyone else have any honorable mentions in that category? Or should we move on to the last one? Another
Sven.
one I thought of was Flounder. Yes, Sven's a good one. Olaf is
Oh,
a good
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But okay, moving on to song. This is the one where I had a plethora. Like
Ooh,
I could
yeah.
pick any of the
So
songs from
many.
Beauty and the Beast, like Beauty and the Beast, Be Our Guest,
Yeah.
Belle, Gaston, Lion
Be
King
our
also had a bunch.
guest.
Lion King also had a bunch. Circle of Life,
Whoa.
Hakuna Matata, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Little Mermaid had a bunch. Under the Sea,
Just
Poor
Can't Wait to
Unfortunate
Be
Souls, Part of Your World. Yes, I can't just can't wait to be king. The newer ones we don't talk about. Bruno's big. Let It Go.
Surface
Was huge.
Pressure.
Surface
Surface
Pressure.
Pressure's
Surface
the best one.
Pressure was on
Yeah,
my list.
Yeah.
Go the
Love-
Distance was like next on my
Love
list.
is
Also from
Love is
Hercules.
Love is an open door. All of
Open up the
those.
door.
Listen, I'm a big
basi-
fan of the
sorry.
Hercules soundtrack. So any
Yeah.
of those songs, like the
Zero to
opening
Hero.
number, like We Are the Muses. Oh my God, Won't
It's-
Sam and Love was on my list.
The thing about all of the songs is that really, and it's such a big category. You could pick anything, and there's at least 5 people out there in the world who A, know it, and B, are like, oh my God, yes, that song. I feel like this is gonna be in this bracket or in this draft. That's gonna be kind of more of a personal preference thing.
Yeah.
That's like there's no way to determine the best song. It's more of what the song that speaks to you the most is, and I think that's what is so cool about it.
Yeah, and I think it's just like we could do a separate draft later down the line of songs. I might do that because there are so many that we didn't say. But if anyone else has any other honorable mentions, I'm gonna shout out.
Yeah, everything from Moana. Basically, the whole soundtrack. That soundtrack, start to finish, is great. It's one of the main reasons that it's a shame that Lin doesn't have an Oscar yet, because he should have won it for that soundtrack. Like, that's such a good soundtrack. But How Far I'll Go is one of the best I Want songs of all time.
Same.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I love that
Agreed.
one.
Chad, what did you have as honorable mentions?
Yeah, that was definitely like my third is How Far I'll Go. I had A Whole New World, Part of Your World, How Far I'll Go, Let It Go, Two Worlds, but also the entire Tarzan soundtrack.
Oh, Tarzan, yeah.
Tarzan.
Oh my God, the fact
I
that
forget
you
those
didn't
because
mention
it's.
Tarzan?
I forget that because it's not a musical. It is that is the soundtrack. So I forget about that.
Yeah.
All Phil Collins songs in that movie are so
Guys,
good.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah.
How do we not bring You'll Be in My Heart into this conversation?
I think we got to revisit the songs later on and do a
Trashing
song
the
draft.
Camp? Trashing the Camp.
Oh,
That's a good one too.
Dude,
That's such a good one too.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many good songs, so many good ones. Anyone else have any last honorable mentions?
No.
Great, we did it. We made it through. We picked some good drafts, and
We
what
drafted.
we'll do, because this is kind of an experimental draft, and we haven't done one of these, we're gonna have a few different poll options to see which one clicks the best. So today, actually, or a few days ago, now that you're seeing this, I created a Facebook group that will have a poll in it that you can vote on. There will also be some sort of Instagram poll, some sort of Twitter poll. Really, we just want to gauge where most people flock to vote for these things, and we'll just kind of take the average of the three in terms of like votes and just pick a winner that way. I don't think we even need to pick a winner for this one because it is so new, but we will officially deem a winner eventually. But I will post it on all sorts of social media to see what clicks the most. So if you want to join, like the Dyl Pickle Movie Network page and try to join the group, I believe it's still open right now. It's not private, so you can just join the group. There should be a poll in there after this drops for you to vote in. It'll be open for like 2 weeks. I want this to be like a long voting period just to see what tracks. So then when our next draft comes, we can announce the winner of the last one. In the next draft, I don't know what it'll be. Maybe we'll have a vote to see what that'll be. And I will always reach out to you guys first to see like who wants to join in on it. Maybe one or two of you every week, just so we can get some familiar faces, but also get some new faces in as well. I know, Zach, you said your wife wants to do a draft someday. I know, Chad, your wife probably wants to do one. If anyone else has any friends or loved ones who would like to do these
Or
drafts,
wives.
participate. Yes.
Any other wives?
But yes, so thank you guys for doing this. Any last words in terms of like questions on voting or anything like that before I ask you all to plug yourselves? No?
We definitely need a winner. You said you didn't think we need a winner in this one.
All right,
we definitely need a winner, right?
All right.
Wait,
I mean,
okay, ready?
We're
it's
voting
the first.
right now?
It's the first
No.
network.
No, we're never going to vote for ourselves because we all.
No, we're not going to vote
our
ourselves. But
going-
it's the
wait.
first. It's the first one, and it's the people from the network. We need to know who is.
I'm going rogue for a second. And Dylan, you can decide to veto this if you want. I think we should pick one person who we think has the winning bracket right now. But just with no explanation, literally just like pick, like name, go.
I was just about to say, I feel like all of our brackets are like so strong in different ways that I'm not sure who
that's
I think
that's why I think it's so like there's no reasoning, just like a pick.
I think we should let it be up to the public. But if you want to, how about this? If we vote on the polls, we cannot vote for our own. So you can put your support toward one.
Well, that's just the honor system, baby.
Yes, but I mean, on the Facebook poll, it will be known who votes for what. So like, and I will see who votes for what on the Instagram one. It's mostly going to be the Twitter one where it will be anonymous. But like, we'll see which method works the best and go with that. But anyways, Chad, where can they find you?
Well, I mean, mostly on the show with you, Dyl, over at Picture This. This month we're doing 1998. I'm very excited because there's a lot of great movies. I know Matt has expressed a lot of love for one in particular, which I think is a really great one. Looking forward for a lot of people to watch that. We're going to have our buddy Malcolm Lay on that, and that's just going to be a really fun time. Hopefully, if he can make it. I also do stuff on my own channel, Chadwick Webb, where I rank stuff. We did Christmas, Harry Potter, Edgar Wright, and now we're going to try to do Denis Villeneuve soon. Hopefully, we can get that in the books because I'm very excited for that one. Great filmmaker. And then I'm over in like Trivia Land, over in the fan leagues, doing like movie battleground debate a lot. That's kind of like one of my big things. But I'm also doing trivia, and I'm doing some trivia soon with Dylan if he wants to like announce that or anything like that. I'm very excited to keep doing the trivia.
Cool. Matt, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at MattmanXIII. That's 13 in Roman numerals. You can find me on FrameWreck right here on the Dyl Pickle Movie Network. This next one we just did Reefer Madness for 420, and sorry, Zach and your students, don't do drugs, kids. And stay in school. And then next month we're doing Battleship, which is a movie neither Dylan or I have seen, which is the first time we've done that, and that's just because he's doing 2012 theme for the month, and that was the only thing we could come up with.
Yeah, cool. And Kelsey, where can they find you?
You can find me here every Monday on the Dyl Pickle Movie Network, sitting in this chair with a little silly Marvel t-shirt on. I'm so excited to talk about episodes 4 and 5 of Moon Knight with you, Dyl. We got some juicy episodes these past few weeks.
Yeah.
And so, check us out.
Cool.
Follow our podcast and subscribe or whatever.
Yeah. Zach, where can they find you?
Right here in this chair, talking about trash reality TV. You can find me there. You can find me at all my socials that you can find me on when I talk about it on Reality, Recipe for Reality. I'm gonna plug myself. Come to the Rhino Theater in Pompton Lakes next weekend this weekend and next weekend to come see Hunchback of Notre Dame if you're in the area. It's a really good show. It really is. Dylan will be there Friday, so
I will.
Really wish I could.
Yeah.
There's videos somewhere that I will share. I'm sure.
Now everyone knows where I'll be Friday night. Thanks, Zach.
You're welcome. Everyone knows where I'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So don't worry.
Also, if you'd like to see me beat Zach at MCU trivia, we're doing that this upcoming month on this channel as well.
You said the wrong word.
Yeah.
Zach.
You said beat, and it's actually lose to me. It's lose to me. The third time.
Oh yeah, no, I said that. Zach will lose to me. That's what I
hate you so much.
Oh boy, it's all friendly here, but
down.
we're slipping into some trivia smack talk. It's okay, but yeah, you can find Matt and Zach face off on Marvel trivia, and you find Chad face off against Stacy, who they helped manage each other in their first matches, and now we'll see them go against each other.
It's going
next
down.
month, so it's going to be a double feature. So all 5 of us will be on the trivia episode next week, so that'll be fun. Or next month. Sorry, not next week. I do not have time to do it in a span of a week. But thank you all for watching. This has been a long one, but next time we're gonna try to figure out exactly, we found our groove today, and going forward it'll be smooth sailing. Don't know what the draft will be next month. Maybe it'll be Star Wars related for May the 4th. Maybe it'll be something completely different. I have some ideas brewing in my head, but I cannot wait to do it. So see y'all later. Bye.